Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom, where we talk baseball history through card breaks and the cards we love. My name is Jake T. O'Donnell. Today we're going to open this pack of 1981 Fleer. It is our 100th numbered episode. We have made it to this point. We started the channel back in June of 2023. And before we open this pack, I'm going to take an opportunity to just to talk to you folks about a couple things. First off, if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. It really means a lot to us. Wax Pack Wisdom was started by myself, Jake T. O'Donnell, and my wife, Abby O'Donnell, last year as a way to connect the history of baseball through the cards that we love through all of the decades, through all of the years. I don't really go chasing hits when I rip packs. I just like to talk about who's inside. It's always fun to pull a cool card out of a pack, but I love to rip old wax. I love to rip new wax, and that's what we do. We also talk about the history of the game through individual cards and the cards that we love, and I talked about that with some of my recent videos. So I wanted to thank everybody who's a new subscriber, a relatively new subscriber. My videos from my pickups from the Shriners show, the both days that I went, have done fantastically well. They have led to me getting a bunch of new subscribers. It's more than I could ever hope for. So I really thank you folks and appreciate you joining up. I just wanted to mention that, again, this is our 100th episode, our 100 numbered episode, but as you guys know, I don't number all of the episodes. A bunch of them, the 59 Topps Friday videos that I do, which again, if you're new, look for those every Friday. I have built the 1959 Topps set, and I'm going through every card to talk about every player, every team. We're almost up to about card number 200 at this point, so we're about a third of the way through the set. Those aren't numbered. I think what I've decided is, this is a long-winded way of me saying this, is that this is going to be the last numbered episode. I'm not going to number episodes of Wax Pack Wisdom anymore. It doesn't matter. It's not really. It's kind of a waste of time on my part. I don't think anybody else really numbers their episodes on YouTube, so I'm just not going to do it. So you're seeing the end of an era here. This is the last numbered episode of Wax Pack Wisdom. It is going to be far from the last episode, far from the last video, but that's it. So this is going to be the final numbered episode of Wax Pack Wisdom. And I figured I would, at least for the 100th episode, I would go out with what is the oldest pack in my current collection, which is this 81 Fleer pack. Just as a point of reference, I did open a pack of this on my Instagram account last year, I believe it was. And in the same pack, I pulled out a Harold Baines rookie card and a Rickey Henderson card, which would be a second-year card. This pack marked Fleer's return to doing baseball regularly. I don't believe they did a set in 1980, but they decided that they wanted to try to challenge them, and Don Russ decided to challenge Topps. There were some legal battles, and Topps had exclusivity for a long time, and Fleer and Don Russ started to get back into it. So in 1981, they start doing this. So I've babbled enough. It's been 3.5 minutes of me talking at the top of this. So let's just open this pack up and see what we got. First off, let's see what kind of condition the gum is in. It is stuck to the card on the front. The Keith Hernandez card. First off, the gum looks great, doesn't it? Let's start here, I guess. So it's a really kind of a nice piece of gum. Let's see if we can. Oh man, it is really attached to poor Keith. Well, let's Keith Hernandez, of course, was the MVP in 1979. Oh man. Okay. Well, we did some damage to the card, unfortunately. We have a little bit of paper loss there, but that is kind of the name of the game when it comes to a piece of gum that's been attached to a card for over 4 decades. So sorry to Keith Hernandez. Hopefully you can forgive me. Hopefully we can forgive Jerry Seinfeld, too, for not helping you move. He wouldn't drive him to the airport either. So anyway, Keith Hernandez, a superlative all-star level first baseman for a very long time in the National League between the Cardinals and the Mets, and of course is now a broadcaster with the Mets as well. All right, let's keep going here. There's Ron LaFleur, an incredible base stealer. I think he had at different years that you could see there, he had 97 steals his first year with the Expos. He had 78 the year before. A premier base stealer of his era. 292 average at this point. He was a 300 hitter, so he was really was a leadoff hitter type. 212 hits with the 77 Tigers, and and good years with the Expos too. And again, if you watch this channel and you see me, I always rave about the Expos uniforms, the best uniform of all time. R.I.P. to the Expos, very much missed. There's Gene Garber. That's a great uniform as well, with the many years with the Braves, a few years with the Phillies before that as well. Was out of there just before the Phillies were in the World Series in 1980. They were your 1980 World Series champs. All right, here is a Hall of Famer. There we go. There's Don Sutton with the afro, the perm, I guess maybe. Don Sutton was in the midst of this very impressive, very long run with the Dodgers. The Dodgers are your 1981 World Champions. They beat the Yankees in a pretty thrilling World Series. I think it just went 6 games. 81, of course, also a strike year. Weirdly, they were the sort of first half champion and second half champion, and the Reds missed the playoffs even though they had the best record in the National League. But anyway, Dodgers were beneficiaries. They go to the World Series. They win. They're also in the series in 77 and 78, and also 74 as well. They lose all those years. But Don Sutton was the sort of bridge. Like 1966, his rookie year, he's pitching in the same rotation as Sandy Koufax, and then he's sort of their anchor, the ace. I think that he was certainly not an overpowering pitcher. He had a few years with 200 plus strikeouts, but this is an era where you're starting to see more guys get a lot of strikeouts, the Nolan Ryans of the world and that kind of thing. But he was not really that guy, but he was an excellent pitcher for several decades, and then sort of as his career wound down, he pitched in a lot of different places. But all right, so we'll leave that aside because that might be our Hall of Famer at the end of the show. There's Mike Tyson, of course, funny name, second baseman for the Cubbies. He was with the Cardinals previous to that. That's right. I have some of his 70s cards from when he was with the Cubs. We got another Expo there in Fred Norman. Again, just revel in the uniform. Years with the Reds. That's right. He was a pitcher on the Big Red Machine in the 70s. 75, they're your world champions. 76, they're your world champions as well. One of the best teams of all time. As he maintained residence in Cincinnati even after the trade. All right, Luis Gomez with with the Braves. Some sort of funky print lines on this card, and this card for whatever reason feels thicker than a lot of the other ones. But I love the 81 Fleer set. This is a great set. I mean, Fleer always kind of pretty much knew what they were doing. Look at that kind of weird print line up there. They knew what they were doing in terms of the design, but they maybe, unlike Donruss, which the 81 Donruss is kind of a crappy set. We've opened that on the channel. There's Bill Russell, who was part of the infield for all of those great Dodgers teams that had, Don Sutton as the pitcher. Infield of Steve Garvey at first, Davey Lopes at second, Bill Russell at short, and Ron Cey at third. They were together for many years. And again, pennant winners, 74, 77, 78, and 81. And of course, they are your world champions in 81, like I said. Not a big power hitter, Bill Russell, but a good defender. And part of that sort of very famous double play combination with Davey Lopes. First for manager Walt Alston, and then for Tommy Lasorda in the late 70s. Bob McClure, Brewers, handlebar mustache. Love the Brewers logo. The Brewers logo at this time is classic. Bob McClure would go on to be a pitching coach in the big leagues for many years. He was the Red Sox pitching coach at one point. So there's Bob McClure. Here's Willie Randolph. Willie Randolph is part of the 77 and 78 champion Yankees second baseman. Again, a high stolen base guy. Maybe not as high as a Ron LaFleur, but and then Willie Randolph would be a coach with the Yankees for years during their sort of dynastic run, the 90s into the 2000s, and then he was the manager of the Mets for quite a few years as well. And I had this exact card is in my childhood vintage book. Okay. Miguel Delone. That picture looks like it was taken at Fenway Park with the Indians. Dan Graham, catcher. I believe probably was a backup to Rick Dempsey during this time. It's Billy Travers. Again, that picture also appears to have been taken at Fenway Park. It's interesting because Fleer was based in Philly, but Billy Travers was from, he was a Massachusetts guy, sort of South Shore guy. You see Norwood, Stoughton. There is Bobby Brown, outfielder with the Yankees. I think where did he play also? Yeah, he was with the Blue Jays too. Right. Rick Waits, pitcher with Cleveland. Again, same thing. It looks like some of these Indians guys had their picture taken at Fenway Park for this set. Doug DeCinces was an outstanding third baseman in the American League for a long time between the Orioles. He was with the Angels later on as well. Good power, as you can see here, 28 home runs in 1978. Would have been part of the 79 Orioles team that he was like sort of he was kind of the successor at third base to Brooks Robinson, right? So, Brooks Robinson retires in 1976, 77. I think 77 is his last year, and DeCinces kind of steps in. But yeah, he was with the Angels later on and had a good career. And the last card in the pack is Tim Corcoran with the Tigers, outfielder. So that's it. So we'll put Don Sutton, Dandy Don, in the middle there. He is the one Hall of Famer we pulled in this pack, and we also picked up a sort of in not so good shape, gum destroyed Keith Hernandez card as well, and a few other really good players were on the floor. So this was a good pack overall. Glad to have the opportunity to talk about this era of baseball, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and so yeah, we'll finish with our one Hall of Famer there, Don Sutton. So that's going to do it for this edition of Wax Pack Wisdom. Tell us what you thought of this break. What's your favorite card we pulled today? Do you have a story about one of the players in this pack? Leave us a comment and let us know. We'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, we invite you to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our Wax Pack Wisdom content. In the video description, you can find links to where you can follow Wax Pack Wisdom on all social media channels. Maybe not all social media channels. We're not on like Friendster or MySpace or anything like that. But the social media channels that are relevant, I guess. We have a TikTok, but we haven't figured it out because I'm not a young buck, so I don't really know. You'll also find a link to a list of our favorite nonprofits and charities. If you enjoyed this video, please consider a donation to one of those organizations. It would mean a lot to us. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.